Hi everybody and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today I'm going to be talking about the fact that you cannot get a woman who is obsessed with you that also lets you leave the house all the time. And it sounds funny when I put it like that, like you're a prisoner, but hopefully I can clarify. Before that though, I must tell you to subscribe. I thought that I would be up to a subscriber episode with this one, but it's actually going to be the next one, and I don't know what it's going to be. It's kind of as the spirit moves me, and whatever I kind of make a TikTok about recently that people like, that factors into it too. But anyway, the most recent one was when you have different ideas about retirement than your spouse, and I have loads of them, including oral sex on women, so that's the most popular. And please do subscribe and follow me all over social media, because sometimes you get to see early versions of what these podcasts turn into, or posts and everything. Okay, so a lot of guys want something that doesn't exist. It's a mythological creature called the woman who's obsessed with you, but also lets you do whatever you want. Now, the only thing, you know what that's called? It's called a girlfriend. It's called a girlfriend because you don't have a house together, you don't have kids together, you don't have finances together, you don't have to do any housework for her. She has a full social life. She may even live with her parents still, or with a roommate or something. She's got somebody to hang out with all the time. So you go to work, then you do your hobbies. During that, she's doing her thing, and then when you see her, you have uproarious sex. I have a great time in the bedroom because it's the honeymoon stage, and her hormones are super inflated to a degree that they will never be again, although she's unaware of this and thinks that it's just that you're so wonderful. Okay, so that's a girlfriend. Then what happens? You get married. You got a lot of shit together. If you're not home, then she's alone with the kids, and if she's still somebody that likes physical touch and sex, she misses you. She physically misses you. This is what people don't understand about people with physical touch love languages. Any woman that I've seen with a physical touch love language, and I do have, maybe my next podcast will be this one actually, but I've seen this with stay-at-home moms also, with moms of young kids, of babies and stuff. And I was one of these. Women with physical touch love languages, it's like they can't be away from the baby. They feel like they can't be away from the baby because they just want to cuddle the baby and touch the baby so much. And it's like a physical feeling of like pain when you're away from the baby. These are like when you hear the stories about women who try to go back to work and then they miss the baby too much. I think personally, from what I see, that a lot of these women are women with physical touch love languages. You know, they express love through touch. So when they can't touch the baby, then they feel like they feel this like horrible searing pain, you know? So if a woman has a physical touch love language, which in women usually goes with quality time also, it's interesting because with women, because they have lower sex drives than men overall, physical touch, when it's the love language, usually really is physical touch. All kinds of physical touch, including sex. For a man, a lot of men just like they think they have a physical touch love language because they love sex so much. So sex carries the day. But in reality, that may not actually be their love language, but it's like, oh, you know, like at any average, it's pulled up by an outlier. So they love sex so much that they think they have a physical touch love language, but in reality, they don't really like to lay around for hours and cuddle or anything. They just really like to have sex. So there's more of those guys, but like that get their love language as physical touch, but it's not really physical touch, than women. If a woman says she has a physical touch love language, it's pretty accurate because she doesn't have that overly like super obsessional sex drive usually, especially within monogamy, if she takes the test in monogamy. So she really does want cuddling and touching and all of these different other ways of expressing love through touch. If you get a woman that has a physical touch love language, does she want you to be gone the whole day on Sunday golfing? No. Why? Because she likes when you are around, and it usually goes with quality time too. It's like the woman that needs to like see you, like you need to be in the room for her to feel loved. And for some women, that's just seeing that you're in the room and hanging out, and for others, it's like actually touching. You know, this woman that then also wants more sex, usually when they have a physical touch love language. Within monogamy, it makes a big difference. And they don't want you gone all the time. So the thing is if you really value your independence and your career and your ability to do whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want, do you really want a woman with a physical touch love language like you may be thinking you do? I don't know. Because most men that I talk to that are upset with their sex lives, they seem to want two things. They describe a woman who takes care of a lot of stuff at home, can be on her own for extended periods, is supportive of work travel, is supportive of their career, is supportive of their myriad hobbies, and also they want her to be obsessed about about their body and want sex all the time and want to cuddle and touch. When are they cuddling and touching, though? When you're gone all the time. They're not. So either it seems like if you want to be the kind of man who does everything that you want to do, and you work when you want to work, you do hobbies when you want to do hobbies, basically you do what you want. I'm not saying you don't do childcare, but you certainly want to be able to get a break from it, and you'll give your wife a break from it too, thereby extending the amount of time that she's away from you. This also explains why there's men who are like, my wife, she's just like so nuts. She doesn't want me to go to the gym, but then I say, cool, well, if I can go to the gym, then you can go to the gym though. So how about I go to the gym from 9 to 11, and then you go to the gym from 11 to 1. And then, could you imagine how crazy she is? She said no. She said then we would be apart twice the length of time. Does that make any sense? So should I just not go to the gym? Well, what you're dealing with there is a woman who values quality time and or physical touch. So to her, what you're saying is nonsensical. You're saying, you don't like I'm gone, that we're not together for 2 hours? Well, bitch, how about I make it 4 hours? That's how it comes out to her. To you, you're trying to say, hey, I value my alone time at the gym. I'm sure you would value the same, and I'm willing to give it to you. But she doesn't value her alone time the way that you do. She wants the together time. And honestly, if you were to stay home for the full 4 hours, both of you, then she would feel warm and close and connected and probably more cuddly and touchy and whatever. Now, there are some men that'll be like, no, my wife just wants help with the kids. She's extremely anxious and she just wants help with the kids. Yes, you could be in that situation too, and you would easily be able to figure out if you're in that situation by that. When you have tried, hopefully you have tried, to just stay home and help with the kids the whole day, sometimes she is not happy. Then that's when, also, by the way, you could tell because she's not in the room. So, if you are taking care of the kids, she's not in the room. Then she is not a physical touch quality time person. She is just a person who's extremely anxious and overwhelmed with child rearing, and she wants you around to give her a break. All right. That's no harm, no foul, fine. You got to figure that out, obviously, especially if that means that she takes a break the whole weekend by herself while you're alone with kids the whole weekend and then you never get any time together. But that is not the situation we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is the men who have noticed that their wives are extremely a lot happier and calmer when they are around, and the wives can be even touchy and lovey when they're around, but the shit hits the fan whenever they have to leave. So this is usually the avoidant attachment husbands. You can refer back to my avoidant husband podcast, because these men, they don't get it. They're like, I think she's attracted to me. I mean, last weekend was a good weekend, but then I traveled for work, which of course I have to do from Monday to Wednesday. And then when I came back, I had to do my, CrossFit on Thursday night. And then I had this happy hour for work on Friday night. And by Saturday, she won't touch me. Man, women, it must be her time of the month. No. As much as I believe that the menstrual cycle certainly influences mood variations, in this case, if she is a physical touch and quality time woman and you've been gone basically for 6 days straight, then she doesn't love you the same way anymore, because she wasn't allowed to love you in the way that she loves you. She wasn't like feeling love because her love is spending time together, touching you and being close. If she can't do that for 6 days straight, or for some women for like 2 days straight, then she is going to be sad, disconnected, angry, all of the things that you would feel if you didn't get your love language met for X amount of days, which is probably sex, right? So the point here is that there are men who are putting their wives in impossible situations by either getting a high physical touch woman and then not spending enough time and touch with her and instead going and doing their own thing, or men who want a woman to be more touch oriented, more touchy-feely, more connected, but really needed a woman who was very independent and didn't need that stuff for at least the first part of their life together. And very much valued, in fact, the fact that the woman let them do whatever they wanted. And then sometimes we'll be in therapy and I'll be like, but she always wanted you to go do stuff. That was the sign that she doesn't really want to hang out. It wasn't that she loves you so much that she wants to facilitate your best life. She liked the alone time. She liked being in, let's say, the long distance relationship. And I've written, and I think I've done podcasts about long distance relationships. Long distance relationships are a classic example of this. So guys will be in a long distance relationship with a woman for like years. And then they'll get together. It turns out she doesn't want to touch or hang out that much. Well, guess what? No shit, right? I mean, she was cool with the long distance relationship, the epitome of not being physically connected. If she was okay with that, that's because that was in her comfort zone. If she wasn't all the time crying about how much she missed you and trying to figure out ways to live together and trying to say, oh, let's do it like this, or let's do it like this, or I'm so upset, or I'm so unhappy, I have to see you more, I have another flight. If she was actually kind of okay with it, that wasn't because she was so mature and accepting. It was because she doesn't super value the touch and the quality time in the same place. And so then it's very unfair to expect her to change her personality on a dime when you are now in the same city, living in the same house even, and you decide that you want a closer, more intense physical connection. I'm not saying that it's not understandable, nor am I saying that a man in his 20s or even an older man that has never really thought or introspected about this stuff should not, I'm not saying you should have known. In any way, nobody should know. Like, how are you going to know something you don't know? You don't know what you don't know, definitionally. But the point is, you could have an epiphany now that you may have picked somebody that either, so you could be in two situations, the people that I'm addressing in this podcast. Either you could have gotten somebody without a physical touch, quality time, love language. And again, for women, those go together a lot. And now... So they didn't have it, and now you wish that they did, but now you realize, man, that's kind of unfair. They never had it. Or you could be in a situation with somebody who does have it and understand why they are so sad and angry all the time, when you're just trying, in your mind, to do your own thing and live your life. Because they don't want that. That's not how they think about the world. They think about the relationship as our default is spending all our time together. And sometimes, unfortunately, we have to be apart. Your philosophy may be in opposition to that. It may be like we live our own lives as a default, and then we come together for things like parenting and sex, and sometimes vacations or dinner or something, and so those two competing philosophies really have to be ironed out in couples work or in conversation or honestly in some way. Otherwise, the people in those relationships continue to be very unhappy, and sometimes they split because it is hard to be somebody who wants to be all the time with a partner when the partner doesn't want to be with you. And so ironically, some of these men don't even know that their wife has a physical touch love language because they never give her enough non-sexual physical touch that she wants to have sex. And in their mind, sex is a physical touch love language. Those things are synonymous. But for women, they're not synonymous. For women, a lot of women with physical touch love language, the sex comes after all the cuddling and all the touching. And if you're not around for all the cuddling and all the touching, then they don't want to have sex, because the more that they have sex with you, then they feel like they are almost saying it's okay that they're sad all the time because you're gone. So a lot of people are in this sad situation where they have what they ostensibly want, which is a wife with, like a lot of sexual potential, but they never get to see it because they never give the non-sexual physical touch that she needs in order to get going with the sexual part of it. Or they only did that in the honeymoon stage. All right, so hopefully this was an interesting thing to you guys. And if you are in this situation of the woman who needs more non-sexual physical touch in order to have sex, and you feel that your love language actually is physical touch, then this would be a good thing to broach with your partner and to have him even listen to the podcast, because he's probably like, no way, you don't like sex, because whenever I try to have sex with you, you don't want to have sex. And you're like, no, I don't just want to have sex, I want to have all the touching and stuff too all day. We're hanging out, you put your arm around me, we hold hands, we kiss, we cuddle on the couch, and then at night we have sex. And a man finds that very, very hard to deal with, because even a high physical touch man will still want to have sex at night if he doesn't get non-sexual physical touch. He still will. He would like all of the touch too, but if not, then sex at night is great too. But for a woman, it frequently does not go that way. All right, well, hopefully you found this interesting, and do follow me on all social media, and I'll talk to you soon.